Hey, welcome to my podcast. I'm Manina, and you are listening to an episode of Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger podcast. Hey, Inspirers. Welcome back to Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger podcast. Today I have a new guest. Her name is Lyric Spencer. She's a former news writer and producer turned author and homemaker, the most important job out there, if I might say so myself. Lyric, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, Mo. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger podcast and movement all together is just about being able to share your story so that someone who is going through it or may go through it just has somebody to say, I know somebody who went through that, who's gone through that, and I know I'm going to make it out to the other end. If they did it, I can. So let us know a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you are.
Well, when you say got to where I am, I have to ask, like, where am I? As a former news producer, I got into that field. I always said that I didn't want to work, right? As a young woman, a teenager, I didn't want to work at a job per se. I wanted to be a homemaker, but it didn't, like, no one in my family talked about any of their wives or my aunties. Nobody stayed home. So it was pretty much a given that I had to get a job. So I said, okay, well, what would I like to do? I'd like to work in television. And of course, I went to college. I got that 4-year degree, and that led to an internship at a local news station in the Bronx. News 12 the Bronx. Shout out to News 12 the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
So this is all the news part of it. So I busted my hump at that internship. That's how you did it back in the day, okay? You got the internship and then you tried to stand out, okay? Anytime, who can help us answer phones on the weekend? Oh, I'll be there. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be. It's my weekend. I never missed a day. I was always the first one to volunteer. I went out with the reporters. I wrote for them. I wrote dummy scripts and said, hey, do you want to look at this? I don't know if it's going to get used, but maybe you can look at it. And I did stand out. But when there was a job opening, they hired one of the other girls to get that job. And I went home and did nothing for about a month or two. And a month or two later, one of the reporters called me up and he said, you did an amazing job at that internship. We all remember you. I don't know why they didn't hire you. I don't know why they hired the other girl. But I don't know why they had the other girl. But a friend of mine is hiring for a little show called Good Morning America. Do you think you'd like to interview? I said, oh, yes. Yes, sir, I'd love to. And, from there, my career just never stopped rising. But, that led to many, many years of work in broadcast news. And as you know, it can be very depressing. It's a lot of negativity. And it's very, very high pressure. A lot of people have high pressure jobs. This is one of them. And at the height of my career, I was working at CNN, breaking news, natural disasters, plane crashes, politics. And it was just really, really draining. And I didn't see a way out, really. I didn't know what else I could do. I mean, there was tons of things that I could do, but I didn't see it, okay? And next thing I knew, I became pregnant with my second child, my second son. While I was pregnant with my son, I started bleeding. And I went to the emergency room. They ran some tests, and the doctors found a humongous tumor on my right kidney. They just took a dive. They found a huge tumor on my kidney. Okay. I'm 5 months pregnant at this time. So after that, I was able to take my time from work and begin with like different treatment and just relaxing. My doctor put me on bed rest. But as a result, coming out of that situation, I didn't want to go back into news. You know what I mean? So like, so now I fought cancer. I have a brand newborn baby and I'm going to go back into the workplace, a high stress, high pressure situation. So I said, no, that's not going to work for me. My husband said, quit and just quit. Just tell him you're going to quit.
Did you just do a magic trick? Is that a magic word, sir?
He said, quit. And he had been telling me that he wanted me to quit because, I was really unhappy. And it's not just that I was unhappy. I was depressed. I still suffer from PTSD from all of the onslaught of the negativity and the images that I've seen. It's unreal. But now with the internet, a lot of us all see those same types of images as well. And we in America collectively has PTSD.
Yes.
Okay, say that. But when you're sitting home and you've got a baby and you're thinking, well, what else can I do? Because, when you're a creative type, you really can't be idle for too long. So I said, well, I can write. I do like writing. I can write a book. I can write a book about something that I'm interested in. Love, dating, relationships, marriage, yes, and self-esteem. So that's what I did. I wrote that book, Pick Me, Feminine Metamorphosis. It's the first book in a 3-part series.
I love that.
So here I am, news producer turned author.
I love that. And you're able to be home and take care of your children. The children
yes.
you fought for, your body fought for, you live for your children, your legacy.
Everything, I swear to God, even the tumor, even though I was so scared, everything fell into place. Because look at us now with the COVID-19, and the kids are not in school. And a lot of moms, I don't know why it's just falling on the moms, but it is. A lot of the moms are trying to figure out how to do the homeschool, and they have to work.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? And if you do go out to work, who's to say that your child is that engaged with the online version of their public school?
Yeah. I have a lot of, most of my friends have children, and some of them are struggling with their kids. They're like, first of all, I didn't know you. I thought I knew you, but you're a different person. This teacher really knows you, and no wonder they call me for every little thing because you're bad. You are not here to learn.
Right. And what we learned is that these teachers, we always say it, right? Teachers have a hard job. But when you sit home and you try to teach your own kids, your own child, okay, and these teachers are dealing with 20, 30. When I was in the 5th grade, I had 40 kids in my class, overcrowded New York City school, public school. Okay, I had 40 kids, and it is hard. It's frustrating. I don't know how they did it every single day. But I have to wake up. I have to, get my lesson planned out, and we get to it because now it's on me. I pulled my son out of school completely, and we do complete homeschool.
Yeah. Well, that's admirable, and because of the time, and now a lot more parents understand it. Sometimes home schooling parents are looked at as like, oh, they just some parents can be really like, oh, my child is this special thing. But no, the truth is sometimes homeschooling is what's best for your child, and that's okay. But it is admirable because it is a hard job. It is really hard. I grew up going to private school my whole life, but we had 35 to 40 kids in every single class. It was no joke. It was no joke, and it was not easy.
But education is so important. And I found my son said, Mommy, I'm learning so much more being home with you than I did in school. So part of that was frightening, but I'm glad it's being rectified.
Yes. Yeah. You get to really lay into the way that your child learns when they have that one-on-one time with you. And that's sometimes I can't imagine when it's time for some of the kids to go back that they're going to be, they left in 5th grade. They're going to be in 9th grade level looking at the teachers like,
Exactly. Because they were left home alone and they didn't pay attention. They don't know what the heck's going on, you know.
yeah, it's no joke. So you had great experiences, and then you dealt with something that was super life changing. And it's the Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger. I created because I went through a very, for me, life changing event in my life, and I had to find myself. I had to find my, I guess I would say my womanhood, right? I had to really step into it. So in 2011, I always talk about this on the podcast, and people who actually listen all the time are like, oh, here's her story again. But I'm going to say the story as many times because it's going to be important to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So in 2011, I was unmarried but dating someone and became pregnant with twins. And hooch out. And I got to 5 months, a day shy of 5 months, and my body went into labor.
Oh my goodness.
And so my twins did not make it. And it was such an experience that it was like the total opposite of who I was longing to be, who I thought I was working towards being. We all can make mistakes, and we all can find ourselves in situations that are life altering. But boy, that was all the way over here. And I thought I was going to, I found myself in a hospital room giving birth out of nowhere by myself. He did not want to come. He didn't want to deal with that. I can't handle stuff like that, right? And I said,
handle it though.
Right. Hey,
for everyone, either you are going to step up, right? Either you're going to be the type of person to step up, or you're going to be the type of person to just say, it's too much for me. This is life.
Yes.
And it's coming fast and hard.
Yes. If you could only imagine how I wish I could have stepped out the room and not have to experience that too. But but it was traumatizing, and I had PTSD. I had a lot of soul searching that I had to do because, when I was 12, I lost my mother to cancer. I lost her to cancer, and my dad raised me. He did a phenomenal job, but my dad raised me, and he didn't
energy there. Right, you didn't have the nurturing that
I drank. Right. I drank it up when my dad taught me it is so essential to, where I go in life and the things that I learned, and I really am thankful. But yes, the mother part, missed it. So the womanhood part came a little late for me. I was already 26, and I was like, well, I'm nice to people, they'll be nice to me. As a woman, better than that. There's certain conversations you would have with your daughter as a woman that your father, the man is not going to have with the child.
Absolutely.
So I came to a point where I said, I have to figure out who I am as a woman and what being a woman means. So I looked and I searched and I found in the Bible, Proverbs 31 woman, and, all of those things. And it did really, really help put into perspective, like, oh, these are all of the things that I want for my life anyway. And I just didn't realize how much more proactive I needed to be to attain those things. So Aspire Big, Inspire Big was birthed out of that loss of my babies, because I had to find myself in order to find an understanding of how I could just not be in that place again. But also, one day I want to be able to have children and a family, and I want to be better equipped on the inside out for that. And then I also realized how many women go through this and they lose pregnancies, but people just don't speak about it in the way that, they would speak about a woman losing a child after they, lived, brought the child home from the hospital or something. But
Right,
it's
because
equal loss.
experience. My cousin is going through this right now, unfortunately, and it's completely. I mean, a loss of a child is a loss of a child, but when your mind is wrapped around bringing this new baby into life, and then you could be already shopping for the baby. You could have a baby shower plan. So the other element of it is that all these other life experiences are now on top of you to now start breaking those things away. And that is extremely, extremely difficult for a new mom, a first time mom. So
Yes.
my heart goes out to you, and twins at that. My
Yes.
goodness.
Because that's a different kind of, it was an experience. I made a YouTube video about it, and I I actually just looked back on it a little bit ago, and I was like, let me tell y'all something. Pregnancy, I don't know y'all women who like pregnancy is beautiful and it feels so great. That's a lie to me. Okay, my body was like, what is this? It was tough being pregnant. So to go through that and it be twins, it was a boy and a girl, and I was like, well, this is it. I'm not gonna do this again. This is great.
Yeah.
To lose that promise in the loss of uh, my twins was hard. It was hard, but I made the video and I made my channel and I made Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger because of the lack of it was really like a lack of understanding. Where even people around me were like, "Oh, you're young, you'll have kids again." I'm like, yeah, but I was pregnant with those people. Those two people were mine.
Right. And
And,
you're going to think about them, 3 years later, you're going to say, oh, they would have been.
oh yes,
Right.
yes, they would have been 10 this year. So and I think about them a lot. So they matter, and I just felt like I wasn't finding those people to be there in that moment, which that happens. But I made the video and I put it up on YouTube, and to this day, people are women are saying, like, oh, I just lost my baby this week, and thank you for making this video, and it really is helping me know that I'm not alone, or helping me understand that what's in my mind, I'm not going crazy or whatever it is.
Absolutely. Because as humans, a lot of us are going through the same experience. Like, what experiences are brand new? They're new to us, but they're brand new in the span of life. No, they're not. So it's amazing that you created this to connect with other women.
Yes, yes. So for you, your experience was a deep experience for sure. How are those experiences or that experience teaching you, like, when it comes to motherhood? What are they teaching you when it comes to motherhood?
First of all, I thought I was going to die, and the baby was inside of me. I was 5 months pregnant, right? That seems to be like the number where it could either go left or
Right.
about 5 months.
Or left and right.
Right, yeah. So they discovered that tumor. I thought I was going to die. And the first doctor that I was dealing with, I said, well, how you're talking about taking out my kidney, to removing it. How are you going to do that? And he said, oh, we'll just cut you right down here. Okay. And he traced his finger down my pregnant belly. And I said, but with the baby inside of me? And he said, oh, yeah, it's no big deal at all. Mo, I knew that didn't make a lick of sense. I knew that didn't make a lick of sense. And even if it made sense to him, it didn't make sense to me. So as a mom, and it is my first priority to protect my baby, I said, I'm going to go to another doctor. I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm going to go to another doctor. I'm going to go somewhere else and find out if this even makes sense, if there's another option. So just that initial gut reaction to protect my unborn child was very strong in me. And, my husband, he's very sweet. He's an intelligent man. But, he was thinking, well, we got to handle this soon, baby. We got to handle this soon. And, and you've got that pressure on you. Am I doing the right thing? It turns out I did do the right thing, because I went and I got a second opinion. And that doctor said, well, who knows how long you've had this tumor in the first place, this cancerous tumor that was like devouring one of my kidneys. And your kidney houses your adrenal gland, which helps you deal with stress. So, like I said, I had a high pressure job, and that adrenal gland was completely devoured. So they won't say that it was stress that caused that, but I know. Okay. So I went to the second doctor, and he said, no, we're going to wait until after you deliver the baby. We're going to wait until you are home with your baby and bond a little bit, and then we'll revisit this. Until then, we'll do regular follow-ups. We'll do a biopsy, but nothing needs to happen immediately. That's ridiculous. Do you see? And there's an important issue that's going around in the Black community among women, that we are neglected medically. And I don't know, they've got this idea that we don't feel pain and we can tolerate all sorts of pain, and we're super women and we're strong Black women. Guess what? I'm not a strong Black woman. I'm a woman. I feel pain, and I'm a human.
Yes.
Okay. And then all that other stuff. Okay. But I do not need to be strong and deal with things that you wouldn't normally expect any person to go through. Okay. So that was one of the things that really stood out to me as a mom, to go against the grain, not listen to this doctor who's supposed to be an authority figure, go against my husband's wishes to handle things quickly. He doesn't want to lose me, but I wasn't even really thinking about myself first. I thought about my unborn baby. And then also at the time I had a 10-year-old son, and I wanted to live obviously for him, but I just stayed really positive. And I said, well, look, anyone I've heard of with cancer didn't just drop dead. I've got time.
Yeah.
I've got time. And it's a kidney. We have 2 of them. You know what I mean? I just stayed really positive, and being positive has a lot to do with your knowledge base, right? I'm not going to say intellect, but it has to do with your knowledge base, because anyone can Google and find these things out now. So the information is out there. When you arm yourself with information, it allows you to be more positive and have a better outlook on whatever your situation is. And aspire big, aspire bigger, things like your podcast and groups. You can find camaraderie in other people who have the same situation. And that's how you're going to get through it. Find the information and find support. With those 2 things, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's good. That's and the treatment of Black women in the medical.
I felt it.
Yes.
I thought it was Kim Porter me.
Yeah.
Like I really, she passed away untimely. She was neglected. I think she died with complications of pneumonia, but somebody can look that up. But basically she was neglected. And I really felt it.
Yeah.
I felt like, that first doctor, he acted like it was no big deal. Everything that he was going through.
Yeah, I completely agree. I felt it as well. I literally went to the doctor that afternoon, and my mucus plug was coming out. Now, I didn't know that. Obviously, I've never been pregnant, but the one of the nurse practitioner, she checked me and she was like, "Oh, your cervix is closed. You're totally fine." Now you know what a mucus plug looks like coming out as a nurse practitioner. You knew that. You saw that. She told me I'm fine. Go home. And then I went home.
We sent home. You notice that?
I go home. Then I went home and I laid down and I woke up like something is wrong. Something is happening to my babies. Because like you said, as a mother,
Really?
And I went straight to the hospital. And even then I waited 2 hours to be seen. And by the time I was seen, I was almost fully dilated.
Wow. Let's see that shit.
Right. And there's so many things you don't know when it's happening. Well, I had no idea
happening
so fast.
Yeah.
There's so many things you don't know, but it really is. They lack care. Even up until that point, I should have been on. I should have been a high risk. I was pregnant with multiples. I should have been a high risk, and I should have been told how to.
Everyone knows that when you see blood, it needs to be taken care of. We need to get the sonogram going. We need to see if the baby cells a heartbeat, like all these things. We need to get it going ASAP. And, that sense of urgency and compassion is just not there.
Not there. But through that, seeing that, you were able to.
I made the right decision.
Yeah. And you know what? The important thing that you said is being positive has a lot to do with information. And the more information we have, the more thorough we can make decisions. And that really does play into being positive about everything. I find that, like, before we started recording, I was telling you that I'm part of an entrepreneurship group. And before that, I have been hamster wheeling it. And now I have found myself executing in ways that I just couldn't do.
That's right.
It's the information.
It makes all the difference. And having a mentor, but like you said, with this group, you found support. I feel like that's everything. And things don't always work out the way you plan. I get that. Life is life. People live, people die. But it's the fear and the suffering that comes in between. That if you can minimize that, then you can maintain your dignity.
Yes.
I get so emotional all the time.
Yes, it's true. It's exactly pinpoint exactly what it is. It's like, if you could just close a transformational gap, you can give yourself validity, and give what you're trying to do validity as well. And, give it social proof, give it what you're really trying to give it. And once you're able to close a transformational gap, you're able to give hope to others. And the faster that gap is closed, the faster you could get rolling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what other advice would you have for someone that maybe just needs to hold on to some hope? What other advice would you give them? Maybe not even in that realm, because some women don't experience what that scary kind of pregnancy.
It could be you trying to level up.
Right. Or a mate. I'm in that boat now. I'm 36 and I would love a husband if he'd be so kind as to show himself. What advice would you give to somebody who's in that? They know they feel good about themselves, but they just want to hold on to some hope or some things they really, really want out of life.
You absolutely have to trust and believe in the powers, the laws of attraction and the powers of the universe. Okay? Because you can pull out whatever you want from the universe. Whatever you want, whatever you see in your mind, that means the universe has it for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to see it. Okay? So the laws of attraction and working on manifestation techniques is very important. My sister and I, we encourage each other all the time. And she just said to me, she said, "Ooh, I have a great manifestation exercise for you. I want you to find $20. Okay, just something small, right?" She said, "I want you to find $20." I said, "What do you mean find $20? Like, I got money here and here." Yeah. She was like, "No, but you got to find this one. You got to find it." So I thought about it a lot because I thought, well, like, what is she talking about? But I just kept the thought in my mind, it's an exercise to try to manifest this $20 coming from nowhere. Okay. And lo and behold, it took 2 days. She wanted it to happen in a day, but it took 2 days. And I got a check in the mail from Pennsylvania from one of my rental properties. And apparently I had overpaid $26 in taxes.
Wait, what did you do?
Exactly. And are you going to sit here and tell me that that wasn't my manifestation technique coming to fruition? $26, a check for $26. What is that? So now I'm mad that she didn't ask me to manifest $1 million.
Because saying it, I'm gonna be a million.
So why she asked me for 20? Like she should have said, she should have had me aim higher. But it was an exercise to say that if you can manifest something small, you can manifest something big. And like I said, it's in your mind because God put it there for you to see it and achieve it. And then what you do from there is definitely on you. But the universe will start to move things and align and say, oh, we got an order. We got an order for Lyric Spencer. She wants to sell 1 million books. We're going to have to get her on some podcasts. And that's where you come in, right? I didn't know, you know, I'm so glad that I found out, but someone had to put me on to Aspire Big, Aspire Bigger. But that's things coming to me that I wanted, that I want so bad. And I feel like, you know, maybe if it's something really big, it takes a little bit more time for those dots to connect, right? And maybe if it's something small, you might get it tomorrow. Right. Yeah. Have you ever wanted like, I don't know, an article of clothing, something that you imagined, whether it be something insignificant, like that's what I'm talking about, like clothes or just something with a certain design, and then you wind up finding that exact thing. You're like, here it is.
Always.
Right?
I will see myself in something, and then maybe a couple days or weeks later, I'll see it like, oh, I was thinking about this. I forget about it after too. Like, oh, I was thinking about this.
It's happened with me for books. Okay, so there might be a book that I want, right? Oh, I got to get that book. I got to get that book, but I'm procrastinating. And the next thing I know, that book will be like, it'll be somewhere for free. Like it'll just show up somewhere for free for the taking, or somebody will give it to me. You know, oh, do you want this? And or look here's some free books, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, it's because these things don't come out of nowhere, and it's not a coincidence. We are channeling these things. So that's what you have to do. If it's something that you really want, you work toward it, you take those steps, but you see it, you breathe it, you become it, and you use the laws of attraction in your favor. And there's only one outcome. You're going to get it. You're going to get there.
Right. Right. I wish that would happen with abs, because I want some. Gotta work for those guys.
What happened to my double D's God? Like,
you gotta be careful what you ask for. You gotta ask for it all at once, because you could get those, but then you get a belly at the same time because you gotta gain weight for that. So you got careful what you ask for.
What I would say, Mo, I would say that there are other things that you are thinking about a lot harder than getting abs.
Yes,
and
that's true.
And that's what's coming to you. And those abs are like, okay, we'll get to that whenever we get to it. But right now, she wants this really badly.
That's true. It usually is something to eat.
Right.
That's awesome advice. This week I've been working on, in the mornings, I open, just read positivity and read things about promises. Because promises are very important in keeping us in line. When somebody promised you something, you do not forget it. It's, as kids, you have a family member, you know, your favorite auntie or favorite cousin who said, I'm going to come pick you up on Saturday and we're going to hang out. And they told you that last Saturday. You are going to remember that all week. Friday night, you're going to barely sleep. Saturday morning, you're going to get up and tell Mom, I have to get ready. I have to do all the things that your mother has to fight you to do on a daily basis. Brush your teeth, wash your face, take a bath, change your clothes, iron your clothes. You're going to have all of that ready. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You're waiting for this person to come because they promised you. And there's something special about a promise. And you have to hold on to the promises that you hear and you see in your mind. And that will give you the hope. And that's just what that is. It's manifesting, you know, you saw it, hold on to it. Keep that in the forefront keep working towards it, keep thinking about it, keep appreciating the fact that you got it there, and keep being grateful, and just know that it's, keep feeling it, keep saying, oh yes, when I have it, or it's in my hands and it feels like this, and it looks like this, that's good. And it's not magic, it's not mystical, it's not, spells, it's none of that.
You don't have to be afraid of it. Nobody's juggling bones. What we're basically talking about are, is energy. And if you don't believe in energy, you might as well hang it up, because how are your lights on? There's energy. Our bodies are emitting energy. We're getting energy from the sun, our closest star. And all of this energy is being recycled and transferred and moved to different places. So it's all very real, but it's not anything to be afraid of. And like you said, it's not witchcraft or anything like that either. What we're talking about is a feeling that, that we have spiritually inside of us. We all have it. Either you want to tap into that, or you want to ignore it. But I'm going to tap into it, and I'm going to get everything that this life has for me. And I'm not going to let any tumor stop me. When I'll stop is when they put me in the ground. Until then, we have to carry on as if tomorrow is coming. Okay, so I'm going to write this book. I'm going to write the next book. I'm going to take care of my kids. I'm going to be there for them. I'm not going to be scared and crying and rude every day because I'm afraid inside,
Yes.
They're not going to forget that. They're never going to forget that, when, that period when everything was so dark. My son acts like that never happened now. My oldest one, he's like, oh, what? When you had the tumor? Yeah, that was bad. I remember that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's because of how I chose to react to that. I still got up and I did my hair. Maybe I popped on a wig. I still tried to enjoy my pregnancy, even though it was difficult. But I still tried to enjoy my pregnancy, and I enjoyed him seeing his mom pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, for the super extra technical people, like we said, it's not witchcraft, it's not magic. But if you want a one sentence way of handling it, is commit to having it work out.
That's right.
Plain and simple. Just commit to it, and it's going to happen. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. I have a segment in my podcast called Introvert Corner. I'm a stark introvert. This has become my new world, podcasting. But if you know anybody who's known me from younger until now, I have some friends and their parents are like, oh, I saw you on Facebook. I saw you posting a video and I saw you talking. That's you? I didn't even know your voice sounded like that.
You're getting out of your comfort zone.
Right. But in general, I'm a stark introvert. And so I like to learn. I like to learn from other people. And this segment is just plain and simple. I'm going to ask you just 3 random questions, 3 introspective questions, and how you answer it might give me and my fellow introvert listeners and viewers, inspirers, some different ways of thinking.
I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. They're good. They're good. All right. So question number 1. What talent do you wish you had been born with?
I always wish that I could sing. I always wish that I could sing. Some people, they told me that, oh, if I'm singing a certain song, they'll tell me, oh, you sound nice, right? But I wish I could sing like Whitney Houston. God rest her soul. She was huge when I was growing up, and I just wish that I was born with the ability to sing. I still love to sing, even though I don't sound like Whitney Houston. I still sing and I still do it. Do you know why? Because it makes me feel good, And even though I can't sing like, like a diva, I also sing to my children. I sang them both to sleep. So somebody's enjoying it. So that's the thing. Like, even if it might not be someone else's cup of tea, right? Maybe what you're doing will be enjoyed and appreciated by someone else, you know?
Right. Exactly. That's fine. And they say that singing, especially if you have any type of, you can hold any type of tune, you can learn. You know, you can always just go.
Also,
Yeah. They say, I know some people just won't, have that. And that's fine. But especially if you sound, if somebody say, oh, that sounded good, then you could probably work the muscle and strengthen it. Get your Whitney on.
right.
For me, it's drawing. I can't draw a straight line. It's terrible. It is terrible.
Wow. Why do you wish you could draw though? What would you draw?
I would draw just beautiful things. I would draw beautiful things and sell them for millions of dollars each. I would.
I hear that.
Or as if it makes people happy, put it up in a children's hospital or something like that. I would just
But
bring
what
joy with my drawing.
abstract paintings, Mo? Like you could do something like that. And you know, those those paintings.
Sense to me though. How do you do that if they don't? The person who's doing them, doesn't that make so much sense to them? I'm like, I don't know what that is. That's lines.
No, nobody knows what it is. That's the big secret. Don't nobody know what it is.
Right.
You know, that person has an amazing story and they want a piece of it.
True. I could try. I could do that. It would all be abstract. It would be because I can't even do straight lines. All right. Question number 2. What is your favorite childlike thing to do?
Oh my God, there's so many things that I like to do that are childlike. I like to laugh and joke a lot. I don't know. I think practical jokes maybe. But my practical jokes are horrible. Like horrible. Like I hide things in random places. And then if someone like opens the refrigerator and they're like, wait, what is this phone doing in here? I'm like, I got you. And they're like, no, you didn't get me. This is just dumb. What are you doing? I don't know. I like to run outside and play with my kids. I do play with them like I'm still a child. Yeah, at the playground, I'll still go down the slide. I'll still climb up onto the playground with them, you know, and I'm a grown woman. I'm still up there and I just do it. I like to play. I do. I still like to play and laugh and joke and all those things. It's really important. As a matter of fact, laughter is so important, even when you're in a horrible situation. When the doctors told me that they found this tumor on my kidney, what's the first thing you think that I did?
Did you laugh?
Started cracking up. I started cracking up because I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I was like, this has got to be a joke, you know? And I started laughing. The doctor said, this is very serious. What are you laughing at for? I said, would you rather I cry? Let me laugh. Let me laugh at this. I'm 5 months pregnant. You tell me I have a humongous tumor on my kidney that's cancerous and you need to take it out.
Like, bad prank. Bad prank.
It sounds like a bad movie. So I just started laughing. I did. It's probably a defense mechanism that I have. And it's a defense mechanism that a lot of people in my family have. And laughter really helps us with a whole lot of situations. You wouldn't believe the things we could laugh at. But you have to. And it feels good, you know. At my grandma's funeral, I remember, you know, we were all sad to see her go. And the funerals are always sad. But there was laughter because we were thinking about all the things that she did that was funny, all the things that she used to say, things that she enjoyed, and we laughed and it felt good. It felt better than sitting there and crying, you know? So just laughter and play is very important to keep alive. And as long as, you know, there's breath in my body, I'm definitely going to just be that jovial person.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I think my favorite childlike thing to do, which I
Go ahead.
don't do much of, is running. I don't know, and it's not like an exercise run. It's like literally, you can't see me. Like if me and my dad could just stay young forever, I would race him every time I saw him. Like, ha, you can't beat me, and run. I love that. When I'm around my friends' children, I'm like, run. You know, like I just love that.
You just want to crack up hysterically, right? Like something about being chased and you're just running, and then you look back and you see the person like, it's so funny, and just laugh and laugh. That's,
I like racing.
yeah. And then their heart is pumping, your blood's flowing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's like a freeing feeling, and I never let them win. They're like, I let them, you know, I think they want to zoom right past them, like, what? Oh, wait, like, nope, get faster. I love it. It's fun. Yeah, that's a good one. So playing pranks, you like pranks and laughing. That's good. All right. So the last question: what is something about you that people would be surprised to learn?
You know what? I'm such an open book. People know so much about me that it is frightening. Like, the people that are close to me, but let me think. Oh, people that don't know me, they would be surprised to know that I can crochet.
Oh.
Yeah, I can crochet. I learned it on YouTube, and I basically can learn anything. I can learn anything. I can learn anything on YouTube specifically because now they're showing. It used to be back in the day, you had to get a book.
Yes.
And follow these things in a book, which is like 10 times harder. But now with everything being on YouTube and you can just follow these things, I said, you know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to crochet. And the first thing I made was a hat for my son. That was super cute. And I made a crochet bra top, and then one of my homegirls, she's like, ooh, I want one of those. And it was, with the Jamaican colors. She was going on vacation to Jamaica, and she wanted me to make her this bra top, crochet, and her breasts were humongous. And I said, well, I made mine, but it doesn't even need to hold anything up. Like, but I crocheted the heck out of it. I made sure it was strong and sturdy. And she rocked it, and she sent me the pic, and she looked amazing. So I can crochet.
Okay. So you're a great learner and you can crochet. There's people.
That's right.
That's good.
What about you?
I'm sure a lot of people will be surprised to learn a lot of things about me because I'm quiet. But I think the biggest thing for me would be, this sounds like ooh spooky, but I can really read people. I can really, really read people.
That's really good.
So I can read people.
Does it work on men? Is what I want to know.
It works on men. Do I listen to it every time? No.
Yeah, that's something we need to listen to our intuition when it comes with these men's and maintain our femininity. There's nothing wrong with being a woman, right? That follows her intuition. If you're feeling something, there's a reason for that, and you just head in the other direction. Because I found that anytime I got into trouble, it was always because I didn't listen to that inner voice. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's so strong, but sometimes you don't listen to that inner voice, and you wind up getting screwed over.
Hello.
Well, that's like your superpower.
Yes, it really is. And to the point where people are like, I think you're a little too hard on other people. Like, no, I just know. And then a couple of days or a couple of, whatever time passes, they're like, did you know that this person was like this, and this? I said, I told you the first day I saw them.
And it went right over their heads.
Yeah, like, wow, how did you know that?
That's a good one. I don't think I can read people. I go by what people show me, right? Their behaviors and actions toward me. And that, to me, that has helped a lot.
Yeah. And it's part of that too. I listen to people, that being an introvert, I listen to what you say, but I also know when you say those things, what those things mean. Like if you say something cut and dry, like I don't drink, and then I see you with a beer in your hand 2 minutes later. Obviously, you know, I don't know what you meant by I don't drink. Maybe you don't drink hard liquor, but you drink.
Right.
But you know, even just reading in between the lines when somebody says something about something, you know, sometimes your friend will share something with you, and I'm like, oh, it sounds like the guy you're with doesn't feel like he's good enough for you. And they're like, first of all, that's the next sentence he said. You let me finish my story, and I would have told you. He said it like, sorry. You know, it's just those things you can read in between the lines.
People should be more receptive to friends like you, because who's going to tell you the truth like that, you know? And even if it doesn't come to light, at least it's something that you could be aware of, you know, because there's a reason why someone else might be seeing that or feeling that, and you just don't quite know, especially if you're like in love with the person, you know, and love is just completely blinding. You really need to go by gut instincts and what the person is showing you, you know.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Pick Me.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like it's in, you know, in the lines of that talk there. Let's talk about Pick Me.
Yeah.
About it.
It's a self-esteem novel for sure. It follows three women who are, you know, having the same kinds of issues that we hear most women having in their relationships. Okay, they're not getting what they want out of the relationship, and I'm not going to go into like exactly what those things are, but they're not getting everything they want, even in a marriage. So our main character, Nivea here, she isn't getting what she wants out of her relationship with her guy, and she decides that she's gonna go ahead and propose.
Okay. Maybe.
You know, so that's called pick me behavior, because what you're saying to this guy that you have obviously been in this relationship with is pick me, pick me. You know, I'm this, and I can do that for you. And as women in touch with our femininity and what we have to offer, there's no need for a woman to ever beg a man to be chosen. A man knows what he wants when he sees it. And a lot of women who are married that were proposed to, they'll tell you that, well, the women that I've spoke to, they say that within a year or two that that man was already proposing to them. So if you're in a late relationship for 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years, you got 2 kids, right? Like Desiree in the story. And now you're wondering, well, where's the ring? Where's the ring? Well, he's already got everything that he needs out of you. Why would there be a ring? And on top of that, when you get down on your knee to propose, by the time you're there, you've already gone completely left. You ain't never going to get what you want out of that relationship, because you've already set the tone that you will bend over backwards. Yeah, wow is right. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's a level up story. So these ladies in the book Pick Me, they want to level up their looks, their attitude, their self-esteem, and they want better relationships, and because they're killing it in their careers, right? Doesn't it seem like as women, like we've just got that on lock? Our whole boss girl thing, our whole boss babe, we got that on lock. We got our own bag. What we don't have collectively, right, is the husband, the ring, and we want those things. And it comes from you first, self-esteem first and foremost. Yeah, so that's what Pick Me's about. It's a level up story. 3 Pick Me's that just, they're gonna blow the roof off. They're going to, by book 2, they begin to experience opulence. They begin to experience being spoiled and really being treated as that feminine being. And the 3 books, they're not written yet. The first book is out, and the second book will be out Valentine's Day. And these women are going to come into their own and really experience some of the finer things in life as women of color.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how often do you see stories where women who look like you and I are flown on the private jet? And it's happening. That's the annoying part. It's happening. Why isn't it being shown to me on TV? Why isn't it being shown to me on Netflix? Okay, we want to see these stories too. I love that one, that movie, Pretty Woman, right? From Ho to whatever. Okay. And this is happening. It's happening for women. And these are stories that are entertaining for us, but we need to see more women that look like us experiencing those things. But this is where they start off. Okay. As pygmies, but it gets better from there. And I plan to continue writing more stories for women that are interested in the level up and experiencing opulence and reading about those things and being entertained.
I love that. And honestly, you do see women of color being, the new term, well, the term that they use trying to be funny is flued out, but it's such a negative connotation put to it. And it really is a pretty woman story. She's got to be selling something to be able to have that. Well, Pretty Woman was too. It's just that she was different situation.
Exactly, and she's being flued out for a booty call.
Right.
Colin Kaepernick's girl just put out something where she was saying that she was mad because Kaepernick made her pay for her own flights to come see him and have sex. It's like, so it's happening, but we want to be entertained. It's entertaining.
Right. But I love the fact that you wrote this, and it honestly can give a different perspective to a lot of women who are finding themselves in those situations, because there's a lot of women, a lot of Black women, a lot of women of other races too, but a lot of Black women who are finding themselves in this situation. You've given yourself to someone, you've made a family with them, you had children, and you're living as such, but they won't marry you. I don't understand that logic. And or you want the ring and you're like, I forget it, I'll just ask for it, I'll just do it myself. And it has to mean something that the person isn't doing that in this culture, and in all of the cultures of the world, as far as I know. I mean, I've been everywhere, but as far as I know, it doesn't work like that. It's either your elders who do it for you or the man does it. The woman is never the one who is.
We should not be shamed into having standards, right? As women of color, we shouldn't be shamed into having standards, upholding those standards, wanting to be treated better or being treated a certain way, okay? And we're shamed a lot into suffering. You should be selfless. Other women are not being that selfless. They look after their children, right? But when it comes to their being, that is protected first. And we should not be afraid to say what we want, say what we mean what we say, and walk out the door if we're not getting it.
That's right.
Walk out the door if we're not getting it, because once you level up your whole being, your self-esteem, you're going to know that this is not the person for you, and there's someone else out there that is better for you. And what a lot of people are not saying, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it right here, what a lot of people won't tell you is that it's better to be alone. You just might just be alone. If you don't find that person, you just might be alone, and that's okay too. If you want to marry someone or be with someone just to say that you have someone and be absolutely miserable with what comes with that, then that's a decision that you're going to make. But if you don't find that guy that meets your standards, then you just might be alone, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know that that's a lot of people's biggest fears, and that I can say I'm not on the train of like I'm just going to pick anybody. Like I said, my dad raised me, and there's times where sometimes I say to him, I don't know if it's going to happen for me. He said, well, it's better, literally exactly what it's better to be alone than be with somebody who's no good for you. So don't worry about it. Like,
right?
Thanks, Dad. But it's true.
It's true, even though it sounds a little bit discouraging, right? Dating is so discouraging. Like, I am married, but dating was like, this guy's a loser, and then you go on the date after date after date. But being with someone that is not responsible, that trickles down into him not being responsible with your kids. See, people don't tell you this. If you marry a man or even have kids with a man and he's not responsible, he doesn't make good decisions, this all really impacts the entire family. You could lose your home. He could be making bad decisions for the entire family in which you'll suffer. It's not a good situation, because it seems like it's no big deal when it's just the two of you, but when the kids come into play, when it's time to take care of elderly parents, can you count on this person, you know what I mean, to make it happen and do what's important, so it's a lot more than just being in love and getting with somebody because they're cute.
Yeah. And you change as a person. I know we can touch and agree on this one. You change as a woman as the years go by. And like you said, and you're not going to be satisfied with that in the next 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, whatever amount of time you put on it. And especially when the children come, you're going to sober up really quick. And your main thing, like we said in the beginning, early in the podcast, your main thing as a mother is to protect your child at all costs, even if it's against the father. And you're going to see things in your children that you would never have asked for to be a part of your children's DNA makeup, and they're going to take that with them for the rest of your life, or the rest of their life.
Yeah, or they'll learn through osmosis.
Mm-hmm.
If they see their dad is a certain way where he always blames people, let's say he's always blaming other people for problems, right? Or if he can't cope well, he's got no coping skills, right? They're going to see that the kids learn those things, and now you're in essence either trying to fight against raising a child that has those same personality traits, or they're just going to be like that.
Yep.
You're fighting against. You really want. I mean, no one's perfect, but that's the thing about having standards. You set the standards. If you can go with this, but not that, then that's what you do.
And it's okay to have a standard. And it doesn't always mean, a lot of times it doesn't mean that you're going to end up alone. But if it does, you'll still be okay. And you have to understand that don't just settle because you'll be 75 and have a 45-year-old child who's just not helping you and taking care of you, but living under your roof still, and you can't hardly walk. And what are you here for, a child? Because they've got victim mentality, they've got, they're irresponsible, all of those things. People really go through that. And right now, there are parents who are elderly, who are sickly, who are still taking care of their grown children. They made those choices in their mate.
Exactly. I saw a meme. The woman said, "Oh, I wish we could choose who our baby daddies were." And so then the other part of it was, do you want to tell her or should I? You do choose. We all choose.
We all choose. That's like top choice, actually.
That was so sad. That was so sad.
And that just means that people are making choices and they're not educating themselves first, as you said from the beginning.
They're letting things happen to them.
Yeah.
Instead of making things happen for them.
Yep. So I just want to say thank you so much. I know that people are going to learn so much from listening to this podcast, listen to you speak, and guys, please get this book because I'm going to get me one. I'm sold already. And not only because, you're here on the podcast, but it's just something that you don't get to see. You do hear the books like the romance novels and things like that, but even those are not all the way realistic. And I feel like, Pick Me it's coming from a real place, and it's real people who are going through real things. And especially at this time in my life, I need some homegirls who are understanding. So y'all get the book and follow Lyric Spencer wherever she is. I'm going to put all her links in all of the places that I put my podcast. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a great experience. I'm just going to cherish this forever.
Yes, I had such a good time talking to you. And yes, we will. Let's stay in touch. I have a women's group, and it talks just about that. Standards, self-esteem, all those kind of things. I would love for you to come and, talk to them and just let them know about Pick Me, let them know about your story. With all women from all different parts of life, and they will really enjoy it, I'm sure.
Awesome. I'd love to.
Yes. All right, y'all. So thank y'all for watching this video and for listening to this podcast through and through. Remember to aspire big so that you can inspire bigger. Keep your standards high. Commit to having it work out. And I will see you guys and talk to you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.